Need to look up the introduction.
I have a lot of things to say, y'all.
We are
started.
We're started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Reflect and Regret, the podcast where we watch our favorite movies, then talk out of our asses.
Welcome.
I'm Matt.
Jenna.
And Ariana.
Welcome. We're talking about Ruby Sparks.
Me and Matt have already seen this like years ago. This is like our favorite movie to watch together, and then
But
we
only
said,
2 out of the 3 of us rewatched it.
I watched this for the first time last night, and I think I started at 10. I ended at midnight, and I texted you guys right after, and I said, what did I even say?
I don't know. Do I need to look up the text now?
Yeah, I was furious.
You were like, I have a lot to say about this movie, but I'm not going to say it now. I'll wait till the podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you said.
So Matt doesn't want to do the 5-word
I don't
summary.
do what you want to do,
hear
but I won't
Ariana.
do it.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Drum roll, please. This movie, in 5 words. Man justifies raping his girlfriend.
He didn't rape her, though.
Okay.
This is my entire analysis of this movie. This man just rapes this woman for an entire movie.
I get it. But also, she's
There's a
not
part-
really a woman. She's a fictional character.
Okay, well, let's hold up.
I have
hold
things
up.
to say.
But there is a part in the movie where they talk about
yes,
how
they do. And I didn't feel this way until about halfway through the movie. And then that's all that I thought about for the rest of the movie.
All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should we wait until they leave?
No, they left.
Okay.
There's people outside the door.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, it's about this author who is a hit author when he was 19, dropped out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like every young author. I don't know much
What?
about how authors start up these days. But yeah,
Every author comments.
And
Actually,
at this point in time, he hits like a writer's block. And he doesn't know where he's going with his work or what he's doing just with his life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like a hipster guy. Lives in what looks like L.A. or whatever.
Yeah, he definitely lives in LA.
Yeah, on top of a hill with a really nice house and a pool and everything.
he's like loaded.
And he uses a
But
typewriter to write.
He's like
That's
mentally
the hipster.
ill though. Like
He's not mentally ill.
he has like
He
severe
has a lot of
depression.
anxiety.
Well, it's not like
He sees
feel
a
it's more
therapist.
like Ariana said, anxiety. And he sees a therapist to try to get over his writer's block. I feel like it's not because he has some kind of depression or whatever.
He has, but you see throughout the movie how like severe his depression gets. Even when he's around Ruby, which is the made-up character he makes, and
Okay,
she
let's-
suddenly comes alive.
To be fair, I feel like he's at an extreme end, but he's also at an end of if I went down a certain path, I could see myself in the same
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
So
He goes to a therapist, like
Mhm.
Jenna said. He goes to a therapist to talk to him about his writer's block and about his anxiety and how he needs to get
And his
out.
adorable dog.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
his dog.
but in
Scotty.
Scotty.
but
F.
in the
Scott
movie
Fitzgerald.
he yes, I love that. He was seen as like the ugly dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at all. I think one of my comments was, I just want a Scotty.
I know. And then the therapist was like, just write about your dog. Didn't he say that?
Write about how someone loves your dog
dog.
for who they are. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, just whoever. And then he has a dream about Ruby. Because Ruby,
Yeah. It's
now
like
you
his
figure
dream
out
girl.
Ruby isn't real.
Yeah. And he's also getting over his ex, who he
Yeah,
calls
Lila.
a heartless slut. And I said that's my new favorite insult.
You're a heartless slut.
Are you just going to call all your exes that? You heartless slut.
And then he wakes up from the dream and writes about it because he's like in love
He's,
with this
Mhm.
Like
character.
inspired by this profound dream he has.
Profound.
I mean, it obviously was when he wakes up having like a heart attack or something.
Yeah, he gets
Like,
up and
yeah.
runs to...
Mhm.
And then doesn't he go to the park and like sees her? Or is that
No, that doesn't happen till the
That's
end.
what
Okay.
happens in the story that he writes.
Yeah.
Is that the girl runs
Oh.
into the dog and she's like, oh, I love your dog. He pees like a girl. And
Okay.
then he's like, oh, yeah.
So he has the dream about her, and he's writing about her, and he has a brother. His brother's name is Thomas?
Harry?
Harry.
Thomas.
Okay, so I had this, like, I had a problem the whole time I watched it because I know that his brother is in a movie or a TV show, but I
Yes.
don't know from
Same.
what.
Same. Okay, I'm looking it up.
It bugged me the whole time.
Chris Messina.
His brother, I liked him. He doesn't have a big part in the story at all, other than like he supports him, but he
Yeah.
wants him to.
He was my favorite character, though.
He was like a
Who, the brother?
douchebag,
Yeah.
but a nice douchebag.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
like, "Oh, you need to get laid, but oh, I support you in your
Yeah.
author thing, and I wanted to help you through a writer's block." So yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that was his.
did you watch the Mindy Project?
Oh,
That's what I thought it was
He's in it.
But
Yeah.
I feel like he's in something else.
He's in a bunch of things that I know.
Like small things, right?
35 more. Let's name all of them. Devil, Julia and Julia, or Julie and Julia.
Devil
Argo.
was terrible.
I'm trying to. I don't know. You watch weird movies too, though, so I don't know what you might. Damage. Ruby Sparks.
All right,
Wait, I wanna. You've got Mail, with Tom Hanks.
What is it?
never
That
heard of
sounds
it.
so familiar.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah, so he dreams about the girl.
he
And
starts
then-
writing about her, and eventually he starts finding women's clothing around.
Yes.
His dog drags in a shoe, and he thinks it's
Mhm.
from like the trash or something. And one day, he's like holding all this stuff, by the way, which is creepy.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know
definitely
why,
weird.
because his explanation for having it when his brother and his sister-in-law come over is that his dog brings it in from the trash, and he's just holding on to it in a drawer.
Yeah.
Ew.
I could see it if he's like, oh, it's my neighbor's. I should hold on to it because my dog is
I
stealing
need to
their laundry.
Give it to them.
Yeah,
Ew. I
Here's
still.
your bra.
Yeah, I'd be like, are you okay, sir? Call
but
the police.
the next day, Ruby appears out of nowhere
In his house.
in his house.
For real.
Like, well, he has a dream right after that about her being there, like them dating, like they're sitting by the pool having like Tommies.
Yeah, because he's like, he's telling his therapist, I am falling in love with my character and I'm
Mhm.
going crazy because all I want to do is write because I just want to spend time with my character.
Yeah.
And so he writes in this frenzy and he falls asleep writing about the scene where they jump into the pool together and they probably are making love. And then he wakes up and he's late for a deadline. He runs downstairs and there's Ruby in real life.
Yep, and he thinks he's going insane.
Yeah.
And so he tries to ignore her and just think that she's not actually there.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes on a date, not a date, I guess it was just like a meetup with this
Yeah.
crazy fan.
Fangirl.
Yeah. That is like, oh, do you...
Really only wants to date him because he's an author of this book.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Doesn't love him for him.
she says, do you normally do this? And he says, what? And she says, meet up with fans that have sex with them in the middle of the day. And he's like, what?
What?
No.
He's like, I just want to
Who's
talk.
the main, what's the main character's name in real life?
The
Calvin.
Calvin?
What's Calvin's?
Paul Dano.
I don't think I've seen him in a lot, but he looks
Mm-mm.
familiar. But maybe because I've seen the movie in the past.
He looked weird to me. I think I had a
Yeah.
note that says, I don't know if I like this guy or hate him.
He fits the role though.
He really does.
He really
does.
does.
So
So backing up, I have a note in here. So his brother, he's talking to his brother about how he's writing about this character named Ruby. And his brother makes this comment of, you're just writing about quirky, messy women whose problems make them enduring and not real. And I thought that was interesting that he
that's
said that.
true.
Because then it made me think of my immediate reaction to that was, that's like, there goes my hope, because like in my mind, like what I want to be is like, oh, a quirky girl who like has fucked up problems but is still kind of cool.
AKA me.
Like I
You're like half that.
half.
I feel like I'm halfway there already. But then, and so my reaction was, well, there goes my hope of like actually that being an endearing quality. But then I thought, but I'm nothing like that.
Yeah.
You're
So I
not
don't know
quirky.
why I'm trying to strive. Like, why do people strive
do.
towards
Like
people
the
who are
quirky-
fucked up,
Yeah.
but they're still endearing?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
get
no,
it.
you're just endearing and fucked up.
Yeah. I can live with that. But it just makes you wonder, why do people want, instead of wanting somebody who will actually be good for you or somebody who checks all your boxes, why do people want people who aren't all
because
there?
movies and stuff.
Is it like,
It
or is
has
it
to
something
be.
with
I
like
think
human
movies
nature?
and
But I think
everything
that's
have something to do with it, because how they portray women in general is, I mean, not just women but men as well, is they have like a certain role to fit into, and that's the image that if they fit into it, they'll get the guy they want and they'll get the life they want for the rest of their lives. And I'm sure it's not how it is for everyone, but for those who don't know what they're doing with their own, like trying to find themselves, that's what they'll go to.
It used to be like the ideal woman is perfect.
Yeah.
You cook for me, you take care of my kids, and that sort of thing. Like, they're perfectly put together.
Oh, that's like super old school.
I know, and I think we've evolved with media.
Yeah.
Saying like, now it's the quirky kind of girl that is the best kind of girl, and so I think that kind of.
I don't agree with that.
Why?
I just don't like.
Good argument.
Quirky to me doesn't sound interesting.
Not quirky annoying, but quirky.
But I think that's the point that the brother makes, is like, that's, nobody actually wants the quirky weird girl.
But
It's
girls
just the
think
stereotype
they want
that.
that. Like, they're like, I want to be that because I want to be the quirky girl who messes up everything, and I want a boy to like fix it.
Okay,
and
so
that
we're
sort
gonna
of thing.
let's come back to this, because I want to. There's the montage in the movie of them actually dating.
Yeah.
We're like right there. We'll come back to this point. So he goes out on a date with this fan, and Ruby's real. She asks to come with him because he says he's going to the store, and he's trying to ignore her, thinking that he's just a figment, or she's just a figment of his imagination.
And he's like going crazy.
Yeah. And Ruby comes and sees that they're on a date because he just leaves her in the car or whatever. And she's, excuse me. And the girl sees her. And Calvin's like, you can see her? You can see her? And she gets super pissed off because
she thinks that he's cheating on her.
Yeah.
Like Ruby, because she's like, it's crazy. She thinks they're like dating. Like, that's all she knows is that she's dating Calvin and she's from Dayton, Ohio. And she thinks that she's cheating.
Her whole life story, right? I mean, they done.
Yeah, because it gets to the point where like Harry comes over and Calvin proves to Harry. Am I going too far ahead?
No, you're actually good. You're fine. Okay. Sorry.
Calvin proves to Harry that she's real.
Well, because Harry's concerned that it's some stalker fangirl that read.
Yeah, his manuscript.
Yeah, his manuscript of Ruby Sparks.
Yeah, and he's like, there's no way you're the only person who's read it. And
this is one of the funniest parts.
Yeah, and so they're like trying to figure out what to write for Calvin. Calvin doesn't know that he can write.
Harry tells him, like, this could be someone crazy that's reading your transcripts that's stalking you, or you're right, and she is.
But he doesn't really believe it.
Yeah, he doesn't really believe it. And
prove it.
He says, or you're right, and she's literally just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so a person you can manipulate.
Yeah, so they go upstairs, and he's like, let's see if you can write something, and but Calvin's never done that because she's perfect to him. He's like, why would I write something else about her? But she's perfect.
There's a part in the beginning where he's drafting her and her backstory, and he said something that was interesting even before I knew what would happen later. He said he's listing all the weird ways that she's her unique individual self, and she said, she got dropped out of high school because she had an affair with one of her teachers. And then he said, but I can't decide if it's the science teacher or the history teacher. And I was like, there's something weird about wanting, like, there being a decision there.
Yeah, it's like random.
Yeah,
why
like,
does it matter?
I want to control this very specific part of your identity.
Yeah,
which shows how controlling he is. Like, especially near the end where he starts going crazy.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
we'll
so
get to that.
Harry's like, see if you can write something, and they're trying to figure it out, and he whispers in his ear, and Calvin writes, she can speak French fluently, but she's not aware of it. And dinner's ready, and she yells up in French, and she's just talking in French, and Harry's just like dumbfounded, like, what just happened right now.
And that's super impressive too, that she just speaks French like fluently.
Zoe,
in the
what's
movie.
her name? Zoe Kazan.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
love her, by the way. Like,
Does she actually speak French? Or
I
is
don't
that just her
know.
memorizing it?
Either way, it's still kind of impressive.
It is.
It's like Ryan Gosling learning the piano for
Yeah.
True.
true.
what's it called?
Very true. La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
So
And she's in a newer movie. What's it called?
we all watched
The
it
Big
together.
Sick. Yeah.
The Big Sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we
a
saw that in
great
theaters.
movie.
Yeah.
Hint,
I
that's
love
next.
her. She's a great actress.
I questioned her in The Big Sick, to be
Really?
honest.
I love
I wasn't. I even at by the end of the movie, I was like, maybe not really. But after the end of this movie, I think she's pretty good. Yeah.
So yeah, she speaks French.
And so, but this is what gets me. It's like crazy to me. They're eating dinner and Ruby is talking about her life
Mm-hmm.
to Harry because she knows that that's his brother and she's getting to know her boyfriend's brother, and she's talking about her childhood and stuff.
Which he already knows because he read it
He
already.
wrote it up and like it never happened, but she's like talking about it. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
That's what weirded me
It's
out too. Did he
crazy.
just make a whole family? 'Cause
No,
if she's-
remember his parents.
Oh, both her
got
parents
killed.
passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about cousins?
So she moved all over
Grandmothers.
the United States because she's an orphan and
Grandfathers.
stuff. And I'm like, that is crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
which I know it's fiction, but like if it were real life, like, does she have these memories in her head? Like she can visualize these memories.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's no way that he thought of every detail. So
Mhm.
there has to be something
where she's like, wait,
Well, then
or,
again,
or
when I
maybe
tell
it's
you,
filled in her head. Like when
yeah,
we think
because she
about
has no other.
Yeah.
if I were to tell you about my life, it's not like I'm going to tell you, oh, I went to Disneyland when I was 5,
Well,
and
yeah,
I remember
but-
dropping a piece of gum on the floor and
so
I
are you
stepped on
trying
it.
to say that you are a figment of Jenna's imagination?
I might be.
I mean, probably.
Are you? Is he your
I wrote him
quirky,
up. Yeah.
fucked
Oh
up,
yeah. He's
perfect person?
Oh, no, she wouldn't. No. I think she
I don't
could
know if I
make someone
called
better
that.
up.
But then I really don't remember what happened next. If I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, my God. So, that montage of
Well,
them.
no, because you have to back up. Because the first part where it mentions, well, maybe this is weird and gross and rapey, is right after that scene where
Calvin says that.
No, because they have dinner and Ruby's like, oh, here's all about my life and I want you to know me and I'm so excited to meet your brother. And then Harry and Calvin leave after the end of dinner and Harry's like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh,
I
they're in
can't
the
believe
car.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in the car. And he makes a comment of, oh, jeez.
Something about like incest or something.
Yeah, he said it's not incest, it's mindcest.
Yeah.
And that's what
Oh.
Calvin said, because it's me. It's not having sex with my sister. It's having sex with me. But he says, oh shoot, where is
so
it?
Well,
weird.
Oh,
like
okay.
a
So
s-
they're in the car and he's saying, well, if you can change anything about her, why don't you just
Yeah.
change? Like, and he says like, do one for the team, do one for men, like make her tits bigger or something.
Yeah, I remember.
But then he just says, you could make her do anything. And then I immediately wrote down, I was like, well, hi, you fucking rapist. Like, you could make, because he makes the comment, like, she could just want to give you blowjobs all
Yeah.
the time.
like
And that's
well, a lot
it's
of
morally questionable.
yeah,
a lot
but
of it
Calvin was
is
saying,
explained at the end, though. Like I said, with his ex-girlfriend, when he runs into her again, a lot of his behavior and how he created Ruby is explained almost.
I don't think it may be explained, but I don't think it's ever justified.
Oh, well, I'm not saying it's justified, but it's explained what his thought process of making Ruby and controlling her.
But the thing is,
Yes.
he
Couldn't
at first he doesn't
control.
want to control her. He's like, no, I
yeah, he's like,
would
why
never
would I
do
change
that.
her? She's perfect.
But I'm
and
sure that's how it was in his other relationship, too.
I think
where
he's
in the
thinking that
beginning.
she's real. Like, why would I change her? That's
Yeah.
her
Exactly.
personality. And I'm like, well, you made her, so she's really not her.
But then it makes you think, because later on when they start fighting, she may be a product of him, but then she takes on her own
Yeah,
life. She
she
starts to
takes
make her
control of
own
herself.
decisions
Yeah.
because she's real. And that's the thing. Like, she has, once she is alive, she is real.
Yeah.
Like, you can't then say, oh, she's a creation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then she goes to his parents' house.
Oh, you're skipping so much.
Oh no. Okay, go ahead. I'm just
What
going
are
off
they skipping?
Wikipedia.
All their dates and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like, they're happy, basically.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing I skipped. They're happy.
Like, he realizes that she's real.
Yes.
And they go on. Actually, I think that was before she met her brother, right?
No,
I don't know.
because she met the brother right after he realized, like, oh my gosh, she's for real. She's a real thing.
I love the music in this, by the way.
Yes.
During the montage, it's like
The
French
French
pop,
Uh-huh.
kind of, and then
French
there's
pop.
another one when they're on the way to the parents' house, which is like
Yeah.
Japanese.
No, that's French too.
Was it still French?
Yeah.
Maybe I forgot.
Japanese.
Yeah, it was good. I like the music.
Yeah.
Uh,
But they're like in a real relationship was the
Yeah.
point of the montage.
Yeah.
like
they
they're
have
going on
ups
movie
and
dates.
they have downs.
They're going to dance
So weird.
clubs.
Like, how does he? If I created someone,
Mm-hmm.
and I know he realizes this at the end, but even in the beginning, if I created someone and I knew they were like of my imagination and
Uh-huh.
I was so happy with them, I'd be like, "This, I created this person. It's weird."
Yeah.
Like,
I think
and I get it's a movie. Okay, again, I get it, but I'm a realist.
I think a lot of times when you create something though as an artist, you don't think this is my creation. It just
Yeah.
flowed through me. This because in the beginning it was just a vision that appeared to him. Like he didn't think about what qualities do I like in a woman, and it just this image of a woman appeared, and then
Yeah, but art isn't actual human beings. Like,
yeah.
people don't create. I mean, like, isn't that crazy? Sophia the robot, like, this guy created her.
That creeps me out.
I know. Have you seen?
That's a life almost. Like that's.
I
Almost.
don't like every time I look at it. I
Yeah.
just,
Have you
It's
seen
very
her on
close to
Jimmy
being
Fallon?
a human.
but I'm pretty sure half of that stuff is staged, right? There's no way that she interacts and she
She
thinks like that.
does.
Yeah.
I really think with this 2018, I
Yeah.
really think.
Well, it's
It's-
AI,
I
right?
don't believe
there are
it.
video games that do the same thing where
But it predicts patterns. And like a machine, like I can get that. A machine predicts patterns. A machine memorizes how
Well,
to have
exactly.
wit.
But it's like when you talk to your iPhone. Siri, look this up, which I
Yeah.
guess it's a little different, but she can still say, I found this on the internet and search the web and talk to
Mhm.
you, give you auto, when you type something
Uh-huh.
out, it tells you exactly what you should say next. So it's like,
like I said,
They
it's
could
almost
do-
human.
But I
Yeah.
think that is the collection of human data. That's a manifestation of how
Which
similar
So
we
I
all
wonder-
are.
I agree with you on that. That
Yeah.
it's just, oh, he said this, and this is
Mhm.
what humans
but I
normally
wonder
say
to
back.
what point,
Exactly.
like, would you say something where she just really wouldn't understand what the fuck you just said? And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say to that. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's so creepy. Have you seen her on Fallon?
I don't believe it's
Yeah.
staged.
Oh my
but
God.
That's
it killed
that's what
me.
I think is staged. Like when she's on talk shows and
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, so I do believe it's staged. What I said was wrong. Because I don't think they're going to ask her, like, the hardest questions in the world. They're just going to be like,
Exactly.
oh, how are you? Oh,
Yeah.
my name is this, your name
Because
is that.
if she
Let's
were
play
a
rock,
real
paper,
person,
scissors-
nobody would
scissors.
talk to her about that kind of stuff, you know?
exactly.
No one's going to talk to her about
I
politics
wonder if she could
and-
watch a movie and, like,
process it.
process it. And
Well, she
talk
wouldn't need
about
to.
it.
If it's online, then it's there already.
Could she have her own opinions, though, on, like,
So
Donald
that's
Trump?
the thing. Like you can tell a machine to dictate your opinion.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Like with when authors create a character, I think that's a little bit different because you have personalities and you let them take a life of their own,
Yeah.
and maybe it's based off of other people and that's why. But with Sophia, you can say, Sophia, you hate Donald Trump. You support
Yeah.
immigration. You do all these things. So when you say, Sophia, what do you think about Donald Trump? And then she just spits out whatever she's memorized.
But that's
And I can see that in a robot. I can
But
see that in technology.
having
Yeah.
its own opinion is a human quality. I feel like it's not
Well, yeah,
something
it
that.
is. But we don't know if it's her
AI.
own opinion unless someone
Exactly.
tells us it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Like I said,
the
almost
world,
human.
We never know. Creepy.
Or it's like her, where like, can she have I don't know if it's opinions that make something human.
I don't
Because
think
I think
she,
you can any technology can evaluate something, and you can give it parameters. Like if it's right winged, then you feel this way. If
Yeah.
it's left winged,
And this movie and what we're talking about is a
Mhm.
lot like the movie Her. I've
Yeah.
never seen it though.
Me
I've
neither.
only
that's
should watch-
a good movie.
that's
it's weird.
It
on the
looks
table for some time.
That's
Maybe
an
not.
that's
Maybe
an
not
actual
right after
thing,
this
by the way.
because it's like really similar. What?
No,
There's-
it's not.
Yeah, there is. It's a program in Japan where
Oh,
it's basically a chat bot
Yeah.
Where it texts you throughout the day saying, "Oh, I miss you. Oh, come home."
But that's the
That
thing. Like,
is
that's
sad.
a chat bot. Like, it memorizes responses that you typically give. And I get that. But what I think is different that makes it human in that movie is that the robot has feelings. The robot loves. And love is the big thing that technology cannot have.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, God, this whole world is going to be taken over.
But it's
Because if you love, then you can
it's
hate.
also a hologram too. When at home, when he gets home, there's a hologram of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Jarvis in Iron Man. But we
Jarvis,
don't
I just
that.
think Jarvis is a really advanced Siri. I don't think it's actual
But
like.
Jarvis has feelings.
Oh well, no, Jarvis. Have you seen the Avengers?
The new one?
And I think
I've
like,
seen a Avengers
Which
movie. I
one?
haven't seen the most recent one.
cause Vision, the red guy with the
Oh,
cape.
yeah.
Vision is Jarvis.
Oh, wait. They're the same people?
Well, so what happens is this is way too off track.
Yeah, you're right.
It's basically
It's all good.
This is
yeah.
me and Matt in the movie theater. Whenever we go to see like this kind of movie, Matt, who's that? Wait, why? Okay, but how? Literally the whole entire movie,
I'd
and
just
he
say
loves
that
it.
Vision is Jarvis.
Okay,
They
I don't even know
merged
who
together.
Jarvis is. But I
I've seen
remember
that
Vision.
in the trailers and stuff.
They merged
Yeah.
together in one of the Avengers. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy,
Whoa.
what?
What were we talking about? It was
So basically,
The montage, and then she goes to her parents' house.
His parents' house.
yes, and that's when they start fighting.
Yeah. Well,
because she wants
she's
to.
having like such a great time with his family, and
Mhm.
she's happy and bubbly.
Because he misses his dad because his dad passed away, and his mom remarried
Mhm.
this man who's completely the opposite of his father.
Antonio
so he resists
Banderas.
that. Yeah, I
Which
love
kills
him.
me. I love him too. Puss in Boots. Like,
There's nothing huge
he's the
about him.
shit. My dad did work at his house. Side note. He texted me a picture of his check that he got, and it said Antonio Banderas. And I was like, Dad, please. Anyway.
Doesn't cash the check.
I
I
just
got his
wanna keep
signature.
your signature.
It was so funny.
I'm gonna sell this check.
Or you just take a picture of it, like get the mobile deposit.
took-
sell
yeah,
the actual
true.
check.
So that's I don't know if how long ago did he work at the house? Anyway, so but he's also mad because he's an introvert. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be bubbly with my family. Like, he's like,
Mhm.
I want to sit in a treehouse and read.
Yeah.
Like that's who I am. And I think he gets kind of mad at her for
Mm-hmm.
being the complete opposite of him.
But he wrote her as an extrovert. That's
Yeah.
why they met.
Yeah. And then he's
Because that's what he wanted.
Yeah, would be the type of person that would love him for being him.
Yeah.
Is an extrovert.
So, and then I don't know what happens.
So I
Someone
think
continue.
then they start fighting, and his stepdad basically was like, "I want to give you this chair I made with my sweat
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
bones."
My
That was
sweat
weird.
and bones.
No, I don't know.
There's a little bit of bone in there.
My DNA is on it. And so he feels obligated to take this chair, and then they take it back. And so them driving back is ironically them playing the same Happy French song,
Mm-hmm.
but they're both like, she looks
Tense and-
uncomfortable and he looks furious driving
Yeah.
back. Yeah. And then they finally get in this fight, and then they're sitting there and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, I was trying to be with your family and you weren't there, and I just feel like we need to spend some time apart.
And that's like her own opinion. Like that's crazy.
Exactly. Because that's everything that he doesn't want. Because
Yeah.
they've been sitting 24/7 together for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she like, what if she would be able to form her own opinions for like a while.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what this is in. What else this is in? Where like they start to form their own opinions and have their own feelings, and then they
Mhm.
become, not invincible, but
Yeah.
they couldn't like. If that
Be
were a part of
controlled.
this movie, Calvin wouldn't be able to control her anymore because she's
Yeah.
real now, like for real.
Mhm.
But that's random. I just thought of that.
I think that she's had her opinions the whole time, but it's like when you're dating somebody and you have the honeymoon period, and his brother brings this up earlier in the movie. He's like, you've never been past the honeymoon period, even with your ex. You guys
Yeah.
never moved in. And so in the beginning, she probably had her own opinions, but they were in the honeymoon
Mhm.
period where if she did have opinions, she would keep it to herself because
Yeah.
she was in a lovey-dovey state. And so now she's at a point where she's like, well, maybe what's best for me and what's best for you isn't to be together 24/7.
Yeah, and then he goes upstairs to his typewriter.
Yes.
And rewrites her, right?
Yeah, he says,
like her
and then all of a
personality.
sudden,
She's wants to be around me like 24/7.
Oh yeah, she becomes like you.
Oh, shut up. So she is so clingy, like unbelievably clingy, and that's coming from me. Like Matt just wants to tear into me right now.
You. That is exactly you.
Not to that extent.
Yes.
Come on.
I will get up and you will hold my arm down so I won't get up. Which is what she did. They were walking down the street and he let go of her hand to call her and not to pick up a phone.
Oh, I don't do that. Don't
and she
even
just stood
say
still.
That. I don't do that.
I've done it before. You're not alone, Jenna.
That sounds like something you would do
But
to
isn't that
Martin.
nice? 4 years together.
You let go of my hand.
I don't do that to that extent. But yeah, and she just wants to be with him 24/7.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah.
But
never
actually,
ending.
if we back up before that, like there was a good few weeks maybe that they were actually apart.
oh really?
And they started to drift apart, and at the
She
point
was
where
like,
she wouldn't come home for like days.
I'm
at
out
a
with
time.
friends. We're
Yeah.
going to have dinner. He's like, oh, I made dinner. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm out. I probably won't be there. Just
How
whatever.
did she make
And so
friends?
they have, because she goes to an art class because she's an
Oh.
artist.
She's not a robot.
No, I know, but I'm thinking like she was just at home the whole time with him or with him.
And I think
24/7.
that's what she wanted. Why she wanted to move out was she's like, I'm here all the time. I don't have friends. I'm lonely. I wanted to
Oh.
be extroverted with your family. I want to get to know them, but you didn't. But then Calvin and his brother, then they're having a barbecue again, and Calvin's talking to Harry, and he hasn't even thought about changing her.
And
But
this was after he rewrote her, though.
no.
Yeah, he rewrote her to be super happy.
Oh. Okay. So she's super clingy, but now she's depressed because they're not together as much as she wants.
Yeah.
And so he rewrites her again to just always be happy
Yes, exactly.
and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
be clingy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so
That's
they're
fucked.
having,
like
exactly.
and she doesn't even know it. Like,
And that, like, I saw that and I was like, that's being on roofies.
yeah.
That is date rape.
And for the third time I said it, I think it will be explained near the end with his
You
ex-girlfriend.
know
we
what?
will get into this.
When I first watched this, I was probably 15 when me and Matt started dating.
Mhm.
And watching it, you're like, at 15, I was like, this is a cute movie. It is so cool. It is so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
But like hearing us talk about it, it's like, it's a really good movie talking about,
Sorry, I had to
Matt-
sneeze.
He
I was
was
doing
like-
my best not to sneeze.
talking about like rape and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, is that what their point was? Like talking about controlling
I don't think so.
relationships
I
and toxic
crazy
relationships.
Googled this afterwards because I was like, there has to be somebody else who
Yeah.
thinks that this is just a guy raping a woman this entire movie. And there's nothing. It's like the
Really?
reviews are like, oh, it's a witty take on modern romance. And it's a realistic
Yeah.
look
'Cause
at
when
what
you're
it means to be in a relationship.
Younger, when you're a young teenage girl watching
Mhm.
this, you're like, oh, this is so cute, goals. Like,
Yeah.
I love this. But like talking about it, it's like, oh my god, he basically raped her. My
Yeah.
god, that's crazy. I never thought of that.
No. This did pretty well on Rotten Tomatoes, by
You
the
know
way.
what? I
It
love the
did.
movie.
Almost
I'm not gonna
80%.
lie.
I will say I liked the movie. I think it was it was well done. It was well acted. It was well written. But I think the premise is a man raping a woman.
But
I'm
I
not.
think maybe that was their point. Like they were just kind of like trying to bring awareness and
I'm not
make
with
it
you
a
on that
conversation.
100%.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it.
I
I
don't think
don't
so. I just think
Okay. Well, anyway, so they're in the barbecue, and he makes a comment though after he's rewritten her, and he says, "I want to be what's making her happy without making her happy."
mhm.
And I think that's very real.
Yeah.
Like that's a sentiment that everybody feels.
yeah.
But it's like this catch-22 of
If you're not being yourself,
yeah, like how that's such a human emotion to want to be wanted, to make somebody else happy just by being yourself.
Yeah. And you don't
And not
It's
having
kinda
to
like
change
when
anything
you
about
fight-
yourself or the other person.
with like your boyfriend and you're like,
Uh-huh.
I just want you to say sorry, and then they say sorry, and you're like, well, I didn't want to tell you
Yeah.
to say sorry. Like I wanted you to say
Exactly.
sorry by yourself. So, It's totally that. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I don't think there's more of a frustrating feeling than that feeling.
It's really
in all
frustrating.
of life.
Totally.
My struggle every day.
Oh, you hush your mouth. This is the podcast where Jenna and Matt break up.
Maybe. Let's see.
For our two unknown listeners who have no idea who we are, Matt and Jenna are together.
Yeah, we didn't really. I mean, I
We don't even have
guess it's
listeners.
kind of
We still
implied.
haven't posted a
I
podcast
know. Wait,
yet.
third podcast haven't posted.
To the ghosts that are listening.
Uh-huh. This is
So-
to everyone in Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
It's in their screen.
But
Yeah.
okay, my friend posted a Instagram story, and I just was clicking, and I saw the guy. What's his name?
Apparently they made... I mean...
Haku.
Haku. No.
No, it's
it was
Chihiro Regin
Chihiro.
from No Face.
No
Yeah.
Face. I saw No Face, but I already swiped, so I went back and I sent it to Ariana immediately, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And that was like a real... that was a real version, too. It wasn't
Yeah.
animated.
It's really big in the anime community, like the white
Like
people
cosplay,
who love.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god! I
Cosplay's
was
amazing.
freaking out.
Except the only cosplay Jenna sees on
Cosplay?
my timeline is... I won't say it.
What, League of Legends?
No, it's just girls.
and
Like,
boobs.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
because they know they're
That's how they make money, though, okay?
'Cause it's
struggle
teenage
so
boys.
much with that idea of cosplay, because it's like, I'm half Japanese. You're fetishizing my life.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of anime gets pretty raunchy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but that's the other part of it, is that they
they
do
know their
it-
audience
my
too, though.
Japanese kin are doing this to themselves, and they're totally cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's
What if
Japanese
they
culture
enjoy
to
it?
have.
What if...
That's the thing, though. They do enjoy it, but me as a person who happens to be Japanese who doesn't want to be fetishized like that,
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck?
And
Like-
it's not all Japanese things. It's a lot of video games and stuff.
But
And there's
no, it's
That's
a
what I'm
lot of
saying.
the culture.
And there's-
is
When
that's
I
what
see
it is.
Matt's video game, he
Mhm.
plays a game called League of Legends, and they look like anime. They do,
Yeah.
and the
well,
girls.
they are all animated.
Yeah. Well, no, like I mean, like Japanese.
A lot of the
basically.
girls are like...
They're Asian.
No, not Asian.
Or they're
They
But-
look
anime.
Asian to me, but they also like
No,
every
they're
single
not
girl
Asian.
is
Mhm.
like tits out for Harambe.
Yeah.
And I
It's dicks out for Harambe. You use
But
that term wrong.
no, that's a thing too.
No, I've
It is
never
now.
heard tits
It
out
is
for
now,
Harambe.
okay. And
That's our sign off.
yeah,
It's
but
out for Harambe.
Please, we're not living in
Stop.
2010.
and, okay, that's a little far. 8 years ago.
I'm pretty sure.
No.
We were 11.
Look up Harambe.
No.
Oh, no. Okay, maybe 14 or 15? maybe?
Yeah. So when I see that, I'm like, but they know their audience. They know mostly. I know girls play the game too.
Mhm.
Mostly boys though play the game.
By the way, this is a huge
I know we keep.
sidetrack.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's move on.
It's a meaty movie. Okay, so there, he changes her, but then he's like, but I just want to be loved. I want to make her happy. I think that's the one redeeming thing about him, was that I don't want to be loved. It's I want her to be happy
Yeah.
with me. And then what happens after that? And then they say, oh, and then they go to the party.
Yeah, his he goes to an author's party.
Yeah.
One of his friends, and he sees his ex there,
Mhm.
and Calvin is the one to go off and talk to a bunch of people about his new upcoming book.
Well, no,
and
because
that
he was
sort of thing.
forced to. His agent was like, hey,
Oh.
we need to talk to these people.
Well, I think before that, he wrote her back to normal.
Yeah.
Yes, he
He
did.
gave her her own choices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did.
But all the while, she had no idea that she was being
Yeah.
controlled.
She has no idea.
She was being
Just a
essentially
huge mood
raped
swing.
for a whole.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she kind of goes away because he's not paying attention to her.
Uh-huh.
Well, again,
And
his
they're both
agent
unhappy.
forced
No,
him.
I know,
It's
but
not like-
but it's kind of like when you ask your girlfriend to come to this party and then you
Yeah,
leave
'cause
her. I know
he-
he was forced to by his manager, but then she's like, okay,
he
what?
convinced
what am I
her
gonna
to
do?
come.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, but you always want to go to parties and you want to do stuff. And she's like, but I don't feel like it. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it. Just let me not want to do this. And he's like, but just come. So
Yeah.
then she came, but then he doesn't do anything with her.
So
And I
then,
get the manager's like, oh well, you need to talk to these people, but
There's a
she
way to
felt
approach it.
so lonely,
Yeah.
and she was like, I'm at this party, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So she goes to the back, and
She-
the author, it was his party, right?
I don't know if he's
It was
an,
his house.
he's an
his
author
house.
too, right?
Yeah,
But
he
was
he's
an
a
author.
guy. in the beginning he was taking Calvin under his wing or something.
Mm-hmm. He's also very famous, and he's
Yeah.
a womanizer.
Mm-hmm. And so she runs into him, and he's like, hey, let's go to the back and go swimming together. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and Calvin gets done with talking to these producers, I think they were.
No, he was talking to his ex.
Yeah.
Well,
and they were
well,
arguing.
that's why
Yeah.
he left. Well, that's why he left her, though, is to go talk
Yeah.
to producers about making a screenplay or something for
Yeah.
something. And then he walks away from that and runs into his ex. And this is where I think you'll see how his
Try to
his
convince me,
controlling
Matt.
aspect of how he
Yes.
wants her to be.
I
And
think
she says to him when they're fighting, his ex says to Calvin, I think her name's Lila,
Yeah.
says that you always wanted this, you wanted me to always stay home and be there when you come back and then always act a certain way. I don't remember. I wish we had the clip. It was essentially along those lines of,
yeah.
I need to be a certain way for you and you never changed anything
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. And I get that, but I think that's a quality that all of us have.
But I think that's where this is coming from, though, with
Yeah.
Ruby, is that he's changing her and that he's not doing anything.
So
I haven't thought
Wikipedia
about that.
says they have a heated argument in which Lila accuses Calvin of being uninterested in anyone outside of himself, which is crazy
Yes.
Yeah.
for her to say, because Ruby is literally himself. Like,
Exactly.
It's his perfect girl, but when she starts having her own feelings, it's not him.
yeah,
Or it's not who he wants.
yeah, and it's like,
So he changes it to match more what he
He
Yeah.
wants to be dating himself.
exactly.
Yep.
And
And the human part of him, like you said, comes out when he
Mhm.
says, I want her to love me for me, not how I
Yeah.
make her. But he's still doing
Yeah, exactly.
wrongful things of changing how she acts.
he
Yeah.
can't control that part of himself where he's like, I just
Mhm.
want. He's so controlling,
Yeah.
and he can't control that.
And I think it's that thing of like any addiction where once you take that first step, it's all downhill.
It's
like
gone,
he
yeah.
wasn't going to control her even when they were unhappy until he was finally like, I'll give in just this once.
Yeah. So the other author who's hosting the party starts flirting with Ruby,
Mhm.
and he convinces her to strip down and go
Not naked.
not naked, but in whatever underwear.
They go
and stuff.
swimming.
And they go swimming. And Calvin comes out and sees that, and he is like furious with her,
Mhm.
and he's like embarrassed. So they go home, and he's saying how
You shouldn't be acting like a slut.
Yeah.
around
and she's
my-
like, you can't tell me what to do. This is my life. Like,
Yeah.
This is where I can see how you're saying that it's
Yeah.
has a rape.
So the irony is that this part of the conversation is something that I understand, and I don't think that that's when it crosses the line into the rape thing. Because when he's like, "Oh, you're being so slutty," like that's an argument that I've had with Martin in the past, where it's
I've
like,
never had that argument with Jenna
what?
that you're slutty.
Yeah.
I mean, you've never worn anything provocative.
Well, not even that. I mean,
well,
Matt was like, wear something provocative. And I'm like, but I don't like.
but I think it's this
Or just talk to
weird
other guys
thing
like
of you have control over yourself. You have control over your actions. You don't have control over how other people perceive you.
Yeah.
And then there's that shared responsibility when you step outside of yourself as part of a couple. You're also representing the other person, and
Yeah.
there is a level of responsibility there.
Yeah.
And so if your partner thinks, I don't think you should dress like that because it makes you look slutty, like that's a legitimate conversation. That's
Yeah.
a legitimate point to have.
That's
But
fair.
at the same time, like the same
like,
thing
it's
that
my
she's saying is,
life.
it's my life. I make my decisions. Why should I have to change how I act to respond to how somebody else perceives me? But it's this really weird balance that I
That's-
still don't. I
That's
don't
the
different,
know
point
if
of
you
a
can
couple,
strike.
though. It's just compromise. You have to know how to make. You have to give some things up to make the
Yeah.
other person happy. If you want to be in that relationship, then
Mhm.
you got to do it.
Well,
There's- nobody's gonna be perfectly like.
it's different though
okay, that's fine.
because
Like,
Mhm.
when they were at a party where all of his peers were,
Yeah.
essentially, her stripping down is obviously a slutty looking
Embarrassing,
thing. But if
yeah.
you go to a concert and you're wearing a crop
Uh-huh.
top and short shorts,
And that's the thing. It's
And that's
literally, it
fine.
has nothing to do with the amount of skin. It's about perception.
yeah.
yeah.
It's about
And the
how
setting
other
they're
people
in.
think.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, he says, I want you to not act like a fucking slut around my it was something along those lines.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was pretty close. And like you said, I can do what I want. You're not but controlling me. And he's like, oh, you want to bet? Like,
Yeah. And this
Yes.
is where he loses it. And he's like,
it was creepy. The
This
way
was
he
creepy.
acted
It was
was creepy.
painful to watch for me.
It
'cause I was like,
was.
this is a man raping a woman.
Yeah.
Period.
You can see.
And it's like
I think she did a
minutes
great
long.
job acting this one, because you can,
Yeah.
when she's saying I love you, I love you, I love everything about you, your body, whatever.
Yeah.
You can see in her eyes that she's sad.
Yeah.
Like when, so he says bet, like I can fucking control
bet,
you,
fucking
bet.
bet.
And so he goes to his typewriter and she's packing up ready to leave because she just wants to leave. And she goes to him to confront him like, I think you need to change yourself or look at yourself how you are. And then he just stares at her and starts typing.
And she starts doing all these things that he's typing.
Let's see. He
Yeah.
forces her to
speak French,
yeah.
but she's aware of it.
She speaks
But the
French.
thing
She's like,
is-
what the fuck?
yeah. What the
Mon
fuck?
Dieu.
How
And
did I
then
do
Mon
she
this?
Dieu.
starts snapping uncontrollably. And
Yeah.
then she starts singing and stripping. And
That's like, why did he have to do that?
Yeah, he kept going.
Yeah.
And it was, that's
but
why
he
it
was
so,
so
painful to
angry.
watch.
He was so angry that he just wanted someone to
Yeah.
love him, and he couldn't for himself without controlling it, but he had to.
And that's what I struggled with through the movie, because it made me think about, and this gets really, really deep, but you think about when people commit these heinous crimes, like when someone rapes another human being, it's usually not just because I really enjoy inflicting pain, but it's out of your past. It's out of the moment and the
You're
frustration.
lonely, yeah,
And
building up.
exactly. And a lot of times it's in a date rape situation where it's somebody that you actually, maybe you do love, but does that mean that you love them if you can inflict pain on them? And it's this feeling, and his feelings of, I just want someone to love me. I've been alone for so long. That's such a real feeling that everyone can relate to. But how can you pass that line, and then can you ever go back?
Yeah. I wouldn't say
well,
rape
I mean, if you're writing
for
her,
this
then
movie.
yeah.
Because he didn't like write out say yes when I asked for sex. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, when
But-
if they did, it was like, she was like, yeah, sure. I know she was fake, but like, I wouldn't go as far as rape, but no, like that the ending gets to you. Like when he's writing everything out, telling her what to do, and she can't control herself.
I like the one where he writes, I love your cock.
Wait, what?
He forces her to say, like, I love your nose, I love your tummy.
It's just,
she used the word
it's
tummy.
weird. It's weird. But I don't know. I think it made me think about, why is rape so bad compared to other heinous things that you can do? But really the only thing about it is you take away someone's will, period. Like and especially in this culture where we talk about how sex is something that's not as valued as it used to be.
Yeah.
So why is rape still such a big
is
thing?
gold
Because
to me.
sex it's an important thing to a lot of people, but the value of it, like, it's like in Harry Potter, that curse where you can make somebody do what you want.
I'm sorry.
I've never
Raped
seen
and then
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Like, have you guys read the movie?
I've read the
movies?
movie a bunch. No,
Perfect.
I've really never seen it.
Okay,
No.
so
And I was not about to
there's
read
the
800 pages.
3 unforgivable curses. There's Avada Kedavra, where you kill somebody, obviously, which is murder.
Obviously.
There's the curse where you put someone in excruciating pain, so it's torture.
Okay.
So these are war crimes. Not war crimes, but kind of killing, torture. And the last one is you can make someone do whatever you want. So you make this curse, and it's unforgivable. These are the unforgivable curses that only the most evil of evil people will do. And it makes you think, like, it's not, this is just how I see it, but it's not rape itself. The sexual act may not be such a big deal, but it's taking away someone's will.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. She didn't consent.
And you can't do that in
or he
almost
didn't
every other situation in life. Like, you can take away someone's life, well, that's murder. You can trap them in a room, but they still have control over their body. There's very rarely an instance where you take away someone's complete control over a situation, and that's rape. And I think that's why, for me, it's such a big deal. So that's why when he's controlling everything, it's rape of her life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I get that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, like, the definition of rape that we know, as in the sexual act.
Exactly.
But what did my mom say the other day? She said this phrase. Oh my god, it's gonna kill me if I don't ask her.
Whatever your mom says about rape, I feel like I wouldn't agree to.
So she said something about, like, it was a known phrase, but I've never heard the word rape in it. I've heard something else, and it's really gonna kill me. Anyway, and I was like, Mom, are you okay? But because you hear rape, I mean, it's a terrible thing. It is like, you take away their will, their consent, their everything. Like, that's their say, and they don't. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Ruby Sparks, great movie. Go see it.
After that fight, he decides to set her free.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things.
And
if
he
you
does
love him,
have
set him
remorse.
Free. Yeah,
he
and
feels
he
really,
leaves,
really bad about it.
Yeah, he leaves a note, and he's like, "I love you."
Well, not only does he set her free, he erases her memory.
Yeah,
and
completely.
sets her free as her own being.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get that because I think the line was something like, "You'll walk out of this house and you'll be free."
Yeah,
but I didn't make the. I don't know if that meant
and then
she would forget.
Well, listen, and then the ending, the very ending, he goes to the park and sees her.
Yeah,
but she doesn't remember him. And that's it completely erases everything when she's free.
So he writes.
Is that what the movie is saying? Like, the only way you can be free of experiencing something like that is to forget?
I don't know if that was
I don't know.
Any other way to be free?
Well, the thing is, she didn't have her own life. Like, everything was written out for her. So in order for her to be free, she had to have her own life. So, because Calvin just wrote everything.
That's a good point.
The whole family, her family life, her past life, her feelings, everything. Yeah. So in order for her to be free, she had to make her own story, make her own.
That, yeah.
So, and then he goes to the park and sees Ruby.
Yeah.
Reading
after he writes this
book.
After
he writes his
about the
book.
Story.
It's called the Girlfriend, and it's about her and the story. And doesn't she say, like, "Oh, your dog is so cute" or something like that?
She goes to the exact scenario that he wrote her up.
Yeah.
But then it begs the question, so she's free,
but she still has Ruby's, like,
but she's still
personality.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's a great way to tie it up, I feel like.
Because then she's looking at him and she's like, "You look really familiar." And she's reading his book. She's like, "You look so familiar." And then she looks at the back of her book and sees...
She doesn't look at it. He shows her because she doesn't know.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, my friend lent me this book to read it."
She said it's pretentious.
Or she's like, "My friend thought it was pretentious, but I think it's endearing."
Yeah.
And so, but that was her accepting him.
Yeah. And then he because in the end,
like,
he
"What
really
did you
did
do?"
create her.
"I'm an author." Shows the author's
she's like so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, "Oh, that's how I know you."
And then she says, "Can we start over?"
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a really cool point. She's like,
but in that conversation, not in like,
"Can we start over?"
Life.
And he's like,
but for him, it was him consenting to that. Yes, I'm going to start over.
It was definitely like a clarifying moment for him. It seemed like we're like, yes, we can start over. Like, that's let's start over. To him, it was let's start over this whole thing. To her, it was like, let's start over this conversation.
Yeah, which okay, I kind of like that ending, but also the same thing is just gonna happen.
Well, he can't write her though, and this time he's
learned from her.
He's learned from his experience.
He destroyed the typewriter, by the way, and now he's writing on a Mac.
He didn't destroy it. He just covered it up and put it away.
Oh.
Not about to destroy my typewriter, bitch. What was I gonna say?
I'm pretty sure I didn't agree with you on it.
No, I know, but he's.
You said the same thing would happen.
Yeah, the same
thing. That she would be
thing
mad or whatever
because
she wants to.
Yeah, he learned from his mistakes, but Lila's relationship was the same thing. He couldn't control her, and then he did Ruby, couldn't control her.
So it makes you wonder, like, can someone learn from that?
To an extent, I think, but I think the same thing. If she's really Ruby, she's her own person. But
I think it would be better this time around.
But I think that's the thing. People change. Like, maybe she'll be
the same.
Yeah,
I guess it was so traumatic because he was like, he went through this craze writing about her and forcing her to do things and making her realize that she's fake. And so maybe, I don't know, you never know, it's fiction, whatever. but that's the kind of thing I think about. I always think that's why I hate when shows end, because I always want to know what about them in like 50 years. Like, I always want to know what happens. Mm-hmm. But that would
But isn't that kind of what you're doing when you start over with somebody else? Because a lot of people tend to date the same type of person.
Yeah, I get it.
like you learn to deal with things different ways, and I don't know. But then it makes you wonder, if you were you and you lived your exact same life, would you make the same exact choices every single time?
I mean,
like this
I
idea
wouldn't
of
change
alternate
anything
universes.
in my past, but
Yeah.
I would.
But like, if you had no
make
idea
different
that it was
decisions in
your past.
future.
I would.
Like what,
I would
Matt?
change so much.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's basically the movie. It's a
that's
deep
the
movie. And it gets
is.
people talking.
I don't think it's that deep.
It's-
but I
That's the
think
thing. I
it
couldn't
has-
find
on.
any reviews that got into like the
Really.
the
It's not a
weird
huge
perspectives
movie,
that I
though.
saw.
It's so quirky and cute.
Yeah.
So romantic.
All the reviews, like from the New York Times, was like, "Oh, it's a fresh take on romantic
Well,
comedy."
Fresh
I don't think it's
take.
as analytical as you found it with Spirited Away, you know, because Spirited Away had so
No.
many.
Yeah.
Spirited Away though is very like, you look at reviews and they talk about exactly what
Well,
we talked
Spirited
about.
Away is
Mhm.
like, there's so many underlying
Yeah.
things, but with this movie, it's really just
It's
one.
one.
underlying.
Yeah.
So it's, but I think it's an interesting movie.
There's not as
to-
much to analyze with this
It's an
one.
interesting concept.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next
that was good.
movie.
I
Oh, we
didn't
have
think
to
about it.
rate it.
Oh, we have to
What's
rate
our
it.
rating system?
Scotty.
Yes.
Yes.
How many F. Scott Fitzgeralds?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. That you name your dog. She made a.
Oh yeah.
You
What?
name your dog after your heroes so you can control
You're
them.
degrading
Yeah.
your hero.
Oh, I remember
by-
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
fucked.
interesting sentiment.
Sentiment.
Star Wars. That's my next one.
Oh,
my-
It's the best drama
Wait, we
in
gotta
the world.
back up. How many F. Scott Fitzgeralds?
There's only one, so one.
8.5.
Wait, I thought we were doing. I thought it was out of 5.
Oh. Out of
No,
5
I
or
think it's
10.
out of 10. Because I think I said like 7.75.
There's only
last
one
time.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, so 1.
That's not what we're talking about, Matt.
I would almost say 9. I
It's good.
really thought it was a good
Ariana
movie.
liked it.
I hated the premise, but
I
it was
know.
a very well
It
done
was
movie.
really well written, though.
To be serious, I'd give it like an 8 or 7. It's not amazing, but it's
Oh.
good.
It's very hard to impress Matt.
But
If you want to
it
impress
got
me,
a
just do
1
Star
out of
Wars.
1, so it
Star
got
Wars, the
100%.
best
I'm not-
intergalactic drama
No.
in the
Okay,
world.
is that actually
Ariana, say no. Please say no.
Is that
right now.
actually your okay?
Okay, good.
Who's going first?
Okay, I know I said this in the first one, but please pity me. I really, really, really want to watch this. Ratatouille. Please. I saw this tweet.
I think any kids movie would just be like, there's nothing.
Ratatouille, please.
I want to watch Saving
Matt.
Private Ryan.
No.
I want to watch
That's a no for me.
Monty Python.
That's
I've heard of
fine.
that. I can't even think of what it's about.
I've
Monty
watched
Python.
one.
It's you probably seen clips of the guy with the coconuts,
Nope.
and he's like
Sound
No.
effects by Ariana Milson.
This is
ASMR.
Asmir.
Wait, let me read this tweet. It says, imagine how fucking angry the rat that controls Gordon Ramsay must be all the time. and I'm like, please, can we watch Ratatouille?
I'm gonna say Saving Private Ryan because there's a lot of
No.
nice good things. It's a long ass movie, and that would be a long ass podcast. But
I'm sorry, Matt, but I'm gonna vote no.
my vote's still Saving Private Ryan.
But I-
Ratatouille,
So you
please.
two
I
can
don't
fight
know.
it among yourselves.
Please.
He's standing his ground.
What does
so-
Ariana have to say?
Like, I just really want to watch a rat fucking cook right now. Like, really badly.
Why
All
not
I
just
can
cook
think
then?
about is a rat in Gordon Ramsay's hair. Someone should make that. Gordon Ramsay should make that.
Okay, so here's my deal. I will vote for Ratatouille if we can have a supplemental video to go along with the podcast where we make a really ridiculous food.
Deal.
Wait, what?
I didn't understand it, but deal. I'm
Are you
watching
saying we're
Ratatouille
just
Like,
make-
right
I'm
now.
just
eat
thinking
while
of
we do
us
this
on a
podcast?
very typical YouTube video of us like fucking up a traditional French dish.
No.
Oh,
I
me,
pass.
when-
I hard pass. You
Matt,
two can
nobody
do it.
asked.
It sounds like fun.
We're watching Ratatouille.
That's
Deal.
my deal.
First of all, when do we have the time to be alone in this house and make
We
something?
can go somewhere else.
We can do
Where
a
are we gonna go to make
non-cooking
food?
meal.
What?
We can do like a
A
non
no-bake cheesecake. Matt wants to kill us right now. Wait, so explain what you want to do.
Okay, like I don't know. We'll find something that uses like raw ingredients and you don't have to cook it.
Again,
Just
where
to
would
see
we
if we
do
can
that?
it?
Sanitize our workstation here.
Ratatouille.
You need to.
I think you have to
you
cook
need
I
to
don't
cook
care.
that.
Yeah, but listen, we can like prepare it and then it goes in the
And
oven
then-
for
yes,
like
I'm not
how it's
that's
preparing
very
warm.
food
true.
in our living room.
Matt,
You have like a tiny
Go to
sort of
sleep.
kitchenette back there.
please, can we make ratatouille and discuss ratatouille?
Isn't that just like peppers, cucumbers, and pepperoni?
Yes.
It's
Along
vegetables.
that-
I think it's rice or something.
I want to try
Is there
ratatouille. First
I
of all, I've always wanted to try it. I want to see if I can make
Okay,
it,
okay,
and I want to watch
blah, blah, blah,
ratatouille
blah,
while I
blah,
eat
blah.
ratatouille.
Okay. I guess we're watching Ratatouille next week.
And we're eating ratatouille and making it.
yes, for sure.
I don't think there's rice in it. Okay.
I don't think there's rice in it.
This is a deal breaker.
I'm Matthew.
Is
Oh,
that
wait.
it?
Yeah, we're signing off, right?
Oh,
I'm
he
Matthew.
gave in very easily.
We're making ratatouille
Yes.
straight up.
Okay.
You guys wouldn't go with mine. I mean, I'm just gonna keep choosing this one until you choose it.
I'm not
'cause I
gonna
think
choose
I'm
it.
learning how to compromise, Matt.
Yeah, I
And
learned how to compromise with
Saving
what's it
Private
called?
Ryan is too.
The last movie we watched.
The Graduate.
Yes.
That was a great movie. I talked to my dad
I
about
honestly
that.
watched that and wanted to watch that instead of Ratatouille because there's no
Mm.
the
Rats.
plot of Ratatouille.
Okay,
You
think
think
about
against
it.
rats?
Think about it this way: once we watch Ratatouille and eat Ratatouille, then A, you can say you've eaten
We're
Ratatouille,
just gonna
and B,
think that it's the rape
Jenna
of
will have to
rats
come up with something new
in
next
there.
week.
Exactly. Nothing good out of this.
Whatever.
Oh my god, I'm so excited to eat ratatouille.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay,
Good
Matt
night.
is literally signing off.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, podcast forever.